Hello everyone, it's Thomas UGB, and today we're talking about a theory for Kamen Rider build, specifically relating to the Evol driver and its repaint, the build driver. Or do I have that wrong way? It doesn't matter, we're talking about these two drivers. They share many similarities in their design and function, but there's one thing about them that seems different. Or is it really that different? Let's take a look, as this difference could mean a lot in the context of the show. Be warned, there will be spoilers up to episode 40, so if you're not up to there, leave right now. So let's jump into it. So in Kamen Rider Build, we know that the rider system was developed by Takumi Katsuragi. So yeah, it's me, and I'm recording this after I just saw episode 41, where they say that Katsuragi's father created the rider system, and I thought earlier in the show they said that Katsuragi Takumi created the system, so they're contradicting themselves. So I already had this all recorded with Katsuragi Takumi creating the rider system, so I'm just gonna go with that for the rest of this video, but you could just assume that the father made it if you want to, depending which side you take. So yeah, sorry about that, I hate contradictions. So anyway, let's get back into the video, or Katsuragi as most people call him, and based its design off of the Evol driver brought to Earth by the alien Evol, as we can see with this clip. Oops, wrong clip. Anyways, the fact that the build driver is an inspired design explains its similarities to Evol's original. The handle that spins a disc and a set of gears when it's turned, 2 full bottle slots, belt straps ripped off from Kamen Rider Ghost, etc. We also see similarities in the functionality, such as the transformations, use of different full bottles to achieve different forms, and turning out the handle for different attacks. But there is one similarity between the two belts that hasn't been addressed in the show: their respective triggers. As we know, the Evol trigger grants Kamen Rider Evol his complete / final form, black hole form. In flashbacks shown to us by Ryuga, Evol arrived on Mars and destroyed it in this form, and it's safe to assume he did so for the other planets he destroyed, and this was the form he spent the most time in. That is, until Vernage separated part of Evol into Pandora's box and damaged his Evol driver, turning Evol into a parasite-like form until he could regain all of his power. He came to Earth and made Katsuragi's father, Shinobu, rebuild his Evol driver until Katsuragi took it and hid it. But why is all of this important? Well, as stated earlier, Katsuragi's build driver was based off of the Evol driver, and the Evol trigger was used dominantly on the Evol driver. And Evol likely tried to get Shinobu to rebuild his Evol trigger at some point, to no avail, but he would tell his son about this trigger. Then it would be safe to assume when Katsuragi created his rider system, he also created his own trigger for his system, just like the original, the hazard trigger. And, as mentioned earlier, black hole form is Evol's final form, granted by the Evol trigger. So, does this mean that hazard form was the original final form for build? Well, it could have been, because it seems like almost too much of a coincidence for Katsuragi to have developed a virtually identical trigger for his own belt that goes in the same place with the same design and functionality and everything really. He must have known about the Evol trigger. So he created his own hazard trigger as his own final form trigger, one to counteract Evol. But since his own build driver is essentially an incomplete version of Evol's, the same applies to his trigger, and as we see in the show, it can wear down its user's mind and make them a mindless killing machine. And since he didn't know the full power of the Evol trigger, or that his Splash driver would eventually be made to outclass his build driver with the eventual Crocodile Crack full bottle, eventually this trigger on its own would be outclassed. So more power-ups would be made to pick up on this original final form for build, such as the full bottle and Genius form, which is the current limit of the build driver. However, the driver's original limit was intended to be the hazard trigger. Other circumstances required the driver to be upgraded. Or at least, that's what I think. What do you think of this theory? Let me know down below in the comments or your own ideas. And if you're new here, please consider hitting that big fat subscribe button for more Kamen Rider content, and I hope to see you next time. Thank you for watching.